Hey guys, this is SF and welcome to Random Talk Sundays. This week I'll be farming light dragon gems for my Godstriker. So I already did one. Godstriker, which is here. I was thinking maybe I should do some able berry farming for this week, but I already done it last week, so I guess I'll change it up a little bit. But I still have a second one somewhere right here. This is my second striker. It's in his evolve form, and I'll be farming dragon gems for him. In terms of how many more I need 4 more. I need 4 more, and hopefully I can do it within this time frame. I was thinking of doing it for half an hour, mainly because I don't really have a lot of things to talk about, and I'll probably run out of ideas soon enough, and it'll get kind of boring and stuff like that. But hopefully I get some good drops. This is a Friday. This morning I got 3 drops in 2 runs, and then after a few hours I played again, and then I got 1 out of 1 after that. So I'm getting pretty lucky. When it first came out at like midnight, I went for like to like 1 or 2 a.m. and stuff like that. I think it started at 1 a.m. but like goes to like 2 and 3 a.m. It took me like forever to actually get one of them. So but after this morning, it went pretty well for me. Okay. But basically, this week in terms of news, Monster Strike, in terms of NA, of course, Godstriker is here. There's a new series coming up, starring Galileo, Genai, and Archimedes. I don't know how to say his name. But most people will probably skip this hatcher, in my opinion, unless you really want some specific niche monsters. Genai was released when Avalon was released in JP, so Genai was the resident like Avalon killer in that when he first came out. Mainly because of the meteor strike shot from the Ascendant version. You basically want a meteor strike shot to take care of the last floor at least. Of course, him himself doesn't do that much damage. You'll probably want to rely on like a Yamato or something like that, but he does make your runs more smoother, especially for the last stage when there's a ton of mobs out there, and positioning really counts in that sense. And Genai just basically skips that difficult part for Avalon. So maybe, hopefully, Avalon comes very soon. People are speculating for Labor Day, or maybe even Thanksgiving for the US. I don't know. Wait, isn't Thanksgiving US is on November? I don't know. Because Thanksgiving in Canada is on October, but Monster Strike doesn't do Canadian events, or like do events for Canadian holidays. They should, but they don't. So, but maybe Labor Day, which is pretty much in a few days actually. This weekend is the long weekend. But either way, hopefully Avalon is not as bad, not as bad in my opinion, but it's not as bad as Izanami Zero in my opinion. And people wonder why Izanami Zero over Avalon. Well, of course Avalon you want max luck monsters to actually get in, so maybe they felt like not enough people would be able to actually get in because they don't have 5 max luck monsters. I know it's a little bit easier in NA because the amount of max lucks you can get is very easy in terms of availability, because you can get 3 from Mythos, 4 from with Lucas, and then most recently the Mist event was pretty easy. Eternity event was pretty easy to get a max luck, so that's like your 5 already. So it's pretty easy to get 5 max lucks, but in my opinion Avalon is harder mechanically. Like, it's mechanically harder than Izanami Zero. It's just that Izanami Zero is harder because you don't have the really OP monsters for it, whereas Avalon you kind of do in terms of Yamato Takeru or Amakusa Shiro, the Ascendant version, and also Izumo. those three, if you have a team of those three, then you basically have the most legit team, even by JP standards. I don't think there's any OP monster for Avalon outside of these three in JP right now. I know people bring like Susano or D'Artagnan, but that's more of a gimmicky team. So I wouldn't count that as like a legit team. But Avalon is 100 times more worse in terms of mechanics than Izanami Zero. That's why I don't think they wanted to put out a Bakuzetsu that early yet, because not many people might have the monsters for it, but don't have the mechanics to actually beat it. Whereas Izanami Zero is more about having the right monsters, and if you have the right monsters, then you should be able to defeat it relatively easily. You don't have to worry about it that much in terms of healing and stuff like that. Okay, there goes round number 1. So I am on a good streak for Dragon Gem drops for this morning and then afternoon. So hopefully it continues, and hopefully I end this in like 4 runs or even less. Oh, there's one. Oh, good start. So I need 3 more. I need 3 more for second Godstriker. But in terms of going back to Avalon, so how hard is Avalon? In my opinion, is Yamato Takeru. I always say this with my friends, but I don't really want to say it live. But it's basically Avalon is Yamato Takeru on drugs. So what does that mean? Is that it's the same thing as Yamato Takeru, where you have to pinch. Now, in terms of Yamato Takeru, you don't need to pinch. Sometimes you can get away with like 4 dojis and then you can just wreck with bump combos and stuff like that. But the original process of Yamato Takeru is pinching. So Avalon is pinching on drugs. What does that mean? It means that you cannot miss a shot. If you do, then you're set far behind and then you take more damage. There are hearts in this dungeon, so it's not that bad. But if you're far behind, if you miss one shot, then you're set very far behind, and it's really difficult to actually gain back ground once you miss the shot. And then the pinching, it's a little bit different in Yamato Takeru in that the space for error is a lot smaller. And some people might not. You have to really get used to the actual spaces, the spacing of those mobs, or else you're gonna miss every single shot, and then you're gonna be far behind, and you keep on dying, and then you be like, oh my god, this is like the most difficult dungeon ever. But yeah, so that's why I think it's not really beginner friendly, and even if you have the right monsters, it's still really bad. And I think Izanami Zero is not that bad of a monster either. People don't really like Izanami Zero, but I think she is really good. She makes Kushinada very easily, like even more easier than normal Izanami. Like Izanami, like the normal Izanami helps you win the stage, whereas Izanami Zero helps you make it smoother or make it faster. So why I say that is that Izanami Zero has the Sprite Slayer, which is the Slayer for the Shadow Golf, and that helps you very quick, very much for that giant Shadow Golf stage, just to deal a lot of damage to them. And also the short cooldown on that strike shot. Some people might have trouble on the first boss stage where it's kind of hard to actually deal damage to Kushinada with pump combos. Especially if you have Izanami on your team, like the normal Izanami on your team. But with Izanami Zero, you can just paw a strike shot, and then you won't be able to one-shot it, but you'll be able to do good damage, and then you can move on very quickly. And then it's short enough that it'll be all the way back up for the last stage in case you actually need it. But that's why I think it's also good for a lot of dungeons, because it still has the same ability set for Izanami as Izanami. It's just that Izanami Zero does less overall damage in terms of bump combos and strike shot, And I guess Izanami has more utility in terms of the meteor strike shot and versus the meteor bomb combo. You actually deal more damage for the strike shot if you compare strike shots, and then you can deal more damage when you compare between the bomb combos. So that's why. Oh, nice. So that's why people don't really like Izanami Zero that much. And of course, if you have a max like Izanami, then why would you want to use Izanami Zero? Because they have the same ability set, same type, same element, and stuff like that, and arguably better. And it's so hard to make use of the Slayers because there's not many Paladin Slayers, not many Paladin bosses. There is Daigoku, but you want Minesweepers for that. And then sprites, there's not much sprite unless you're going for Murasame. And I should have strike shot my Soul Ring X. That's why I can't really do two things at once. I can't really play on my top Monster Strike game when I'm focusing on talking at the same time. Of course, this is an easy dungeon, so I don't have time. It's not that hard to actually win the dungeon, but I just lose a lot of efficiency in terms of speed and making good shots overall. And I should have hit my gauge, but it doesn't really matter that much. See, when I farm, I'm really lazy. I just miss strike shots. I miss gauge shots all the time because it doesn't really matter that much. If you're in a farming mode, it's best to be less stressed as possible. A lot of people can focus for 3 hours straight. Good job for you guys, but I cannot focus for 3 hours straight, and there's that no drop, which is normal actually, but I can't, and so that's why I just do really random shots or make a team that doesn't require me to think that much. Okay, first orb of the stream or the video. It's not a stream. I should get back to streaming, but don't know what to stream. I heard actually, is Tower coming back? I don't know. People might say Tower is coming back. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do well, I know Tower is coming back for JP for sure, but for NA I'm not that sure. But they should, because Arthur's back. Arthur Ascension is finally here, and most people will have a bit of an easier time to actually get through floor number 30 with Arthur, and also with Godstriker to help out with some of the other stages like 21st floor, 30th floor, 29th floor, and stuff like that. So I think it's not a bad idea to bring back Tower again and see how that works. Nice. I should wait for the Buffalo because the summoning is going to be annoying, but in hindsight it doesn't matter. I still cleared it. But yeah, this week it's going to be, or you've probably seen the monster of the week, which is going to be Godstriker. Impossible Monday, I'm not so sure. I haven't thought of Impossible Mondays yet, of what dungeon I should do. I already made a duplicate, in terms of doing the same boss twice during the series, and I'm wondering what I should do next. I don't even know what Impossibles are coming out. Avalon, I know Avalon's coming back. Oh yeah, Eden's on the 4th in JP. I should do Eden then. But it's just that Eden is, I'm not that great in Eden yet. People have been asking me, when's Eden, where's my video for Eden? Is that most of the time I didn't record when I actually beat it. Even so, I only beat it once out of 20-ish times. And I don't even know why. I'm just really bad at it or something, or maybe I was just half asleep, because they're usually in the very early mornings, and I'm half asleep and not focusing that well. And of course, I haven't gotten to drop yet, so that's the only monster I'm kind of missing in terms of farmables, I think. Oh yeah, and Skill Me Zero, but Skill Me Zero is easy enough that I can. It's not as bad as Eden. Let's just say that. but it is a little bit of brain bender for skill me 0 because you have to figure out the movements of the actual eyeballs and stuff like that, which is going to be. And my strength shot's not even up for the last bar. Okay. Nice and close against Blight. And there's the weak spot. Gonna hit Worm. But speaking of Impossibles and Impossible Mondays, there is going to be a new Impossible series, I guess, for JP. And that is going to be the War God Doom. So for people who don't know who Doom is from the Monster Strike anime. He's one of the first boss, and spoiler alert if you're still watching the actual anime right now, but he was the guy that ate Izanami, like literally ate Izanami. Like, it's not even a joke, it's like she actually ate Izanami, or he actually ate Izanami. And I think it's Izanami 0. Oh, don't. Oh my god. I was. See, me not thinking. But Impossible's coming out, and from the looks of it, it shouldn't be that bad. From the looks of it. They do have a stream coming up, and the people there is Kosari and Shuntaso, which are both pretty good YouTubers and Monster Strikers, but they are teaming up with two of the JP devs, two of the girls from the JP side, and they're not as good as like the M4s or the high tier YouTubers out there. So the two Kosari and Shuntaso will have to carry those the two girls to victory, and so that's why I think it's not going to be that bad in terms of its dungeon. And from the anime, there are a lot of warps in that sequence where like Kamui goes through the warps, like misgauge and go through the warps, and then to attack Doom. And I think it's really cool because War Gods, if you've seen the anime, War Gods, they all have their different gimmicks in terms of actual like different gimmicks towards like the players. So like Doom has warps and then like a debuff or like a immobilizer. So he basically has this dust that stops Kamui from actually doing anything. I think that's just kind of like a bump combo debuff, like bump combo lock or ability lock or something like that. So it's nothing that new. But like Nirvana, which is the Fire War God, has this weak spot on a different monster, and that is not his clone, which I think is pretty neat. Focusing on a different monster for their weak spot to actually deal damage. Of course, Nirvana will be like pretty much immune to any other damage. I think that's a cool concept for a dungeon. And then Memento Mori. Memento Mori is summon 0 versions of your monsters. So I think that would be cool as well. But it's gonna be hard to do in terms of balancing. Like, if I bring like a very OP monster, do they for the 0 versions, do they like do they deal more damage to me or something like that? That would be really, really weird, or like really, really interesting. So I hope they will do something like that and just not make like a regular Impossible dungeon type thing. Of course, they're gonna make something different because every single Impossible dungeon requires you to do something different. And I think that's the cool part about Monster Strike, is that every monster dungeon is a little bit different, even though the gimmicks are kind of the same. Like even Gremlin, like it's mines and warps, mines and blocks, right? But it's different in terms of how they placed it and what you have to do. This for Gremlin is going to be, it is clearing off the obstructor first because the obstructor revives them, and then you gotta start pinching Gremlin through the blocks and from the blocks and herself, or the wall in herself, to actually deal a lot of damage. Because she does a lot of damage to you, and it's basically who dies first in terms of from the damage. So I think So it's a little bit different. Like there's a lot of like mines and block dungeons. Like Shion D is a mine and block dungeon. I can't really think of a lot of mines and block dungeons actually. Well, I guess Izanami-zo is also a mine block dungeon, but it's different, and that's why I really like Monster Strike. Whereas like other games, it's not that much different besides like the attacks the monsters do or something like that. You want something new every single time. Like even if you're rehashing the same like gimmicks or like rehashing the same attacks or something like that, at least make it different so that it's kind of different. Like make it so that it's a little bit different, and you have to do something a little different or bring a different kind of monster to actually beat the dungeon. Although Gremlin is not, you don't need anybody different. I guess you want to bring Freeze, which is a no block, and Minesweeper, and then I guess Skumi, but she's a new monster, so there's nothing like different. She's just new. But that dungeon is basically Royce and Loki wrecking with bomb combos and stuff like that. So it's not that much different. Okay. And then, but yeah, that's why I'm hoping for the War Gods. Just to have something different and something that resembles their attacks or gimmicks in the actual anime. Okay. So 2 runs straight of no drops. So number 3. Don't make it number 3. And it's number 3. 3 straight ones. But I guess I'll do like a couple of more runs. Probably spend one more orb and then see how it goes. But like I said, I want to keep this a little bit short. Like doing it for an hour is not of course I run out of stuff to say, and then it might get a little bit boring just seeing me doing the same thing over and over for an hour. I'm pretty sure you won't, like, you're not watching this video by watching the actual like dungeon run, and you're just listening to it kind of like a radio style or like a podcast style, which is basically my intention for this video, and why before, if you guys knew, before I had a podcast type of show, which is basically the same thing as this, but it's just that there's no video, it's just audio. And once I stopped, people wanted it back and stuff like that, so I guess I changed it a little bit and did it in this format. But like I said, it's different. Like I don't have that much stuff to talk about. For like 2 weeks, for 2 weeks in a row, well, not including this week, 2 weeks in a row, I started talking about Puzzles and Dragons, and some people might not like it. So and that was basically half the video. But this week I'll not talk about Pad, and then I guess the final topic is the version 7.1 in JP. And like for me, like it's cool, like it's nothing that game breaking. Like it's easier to farm now because the difficulty for the Dragon Gems are a little bit lower. I'm not sure if the dungeon difficulty, like the dungeon itself, gets a little bit easier, but it's pretty easy to begin with, and you want to bring XX anyways. But one knack about that is that my video for for medal farming becomes nullified because the difficulty becomes savage, and the medal score, the medals you get for the new Dragon Gem dungeon will be decreased a lot lower. So there goes that video. But in replace, there is a turtle dungeon. Turtle dungeons are going to be 24/7, and then that's really nice. And then the extreme version of that turtle dungeon will have medals, so you can farm it that way. So I think that's okay. And you can still use the same tactic, you just convert it from Dragon Gems, 2 turtles. And of course the monsters needed will be a little bit different, but the main format is still the same. And pretty much everybody does that nowadays, and it's not just Dragon Gems. People do it for Savage dungeons, like the new Savage dungeons for the new series. I've seen like Barbatos and people just using Himikos or Romas just to wreck that dungeon. And then the host brings a 2-star monster, and then Roma just goes to town with that. And it's a gun versus gun fight. Sniper versus I guess a revolver. Is it a revolver? What is Roma's gun in terms of gun types? Like, is it a pistol? I guess it's a pistol, but Roma holding a pistol doesn't sound cool. Like, you want like something like a cool type of gun, like a Desert Eagle, but it's not really a Desert Eagle. You want like, I don't know. It's not even a revolver. It's like a pistol, but it's like a normal pistol that magically has unlimited bullets, which is kind of cool. But you want like a cool type of gun. Like, I don't know, like when you're talking about rifles, you won't be talking about like AK-40. Well, I guess AK-47s are cool. I guess it really depends. But like AK-47s are so common that it's kind of bleh, in my opinion. Well, I'm not that much of a FPS guy either, so I don't know that many guns. Like, I wouldn't know the difference between MP4 and MP like 6 or something like that. For all those Counter-Strike players or something, for all the Counter-Strike players out there. Like, I don't know the difference. Like, I know like how they're different in terms of mechanics, but like if you tell me to use one gun over the other, I wouldn't know which one's which. Okay, run number 4. Well, not run number 4. Like, don't make this the 4th run of no drops. Don't make this the 4th run with no drops. I still need 3 more. Come on. Nope. And my luck has run out. I guess I'll stop here for now. But 7.1 is pretty cool. Like, the new additions and stuff like that are really, really nice. But it's mainly about the metal farming nerfs and stuff like that. That's kind of getting me meh. But of course, for people who like to farm and stuff like that, will be not that worried. I'm pretty sure a lot of people stop worrying about olive now. I kind of stopped farming olive. I said I'd try to keep it 1 per day, but I'm nowhere near that quota or that pace. But hopefully, in terms of Godstriker, hopefully I'll finish it off by the end of the day and stuff like that, and then co-op with people to make it a little bit easier, hopefully. Well, of course, the speed-wise is not going to be any faster, but number of runs I have to do will be a little bit shorter. And I'm on the connecting screen for the hellos of long time. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.